Hello friends! So I've been meaning to make a video about Vipassana meditation for a while, an update in a way, because maybe some of you remember April 2019, a bit more than a year ago. I went to sit 10 days in silence, meditating 10 hours a day in Sweden, and I made a video about it, and now it's a year later and I actually stuck with it. So it means the last 14 months, every day I've been sitting for at least 2 hours in meditation. I calculated it actually because I did join another meditation retreat, and many days I would meditate more than 2 hours. So in total it was more than 1,000 hours of meditation in the last year. And I want to share a bit what that feels like, or what's going on, and because it's amazing, very profound, potent thing in my life, and I realized now, kind of thinking about what to talk about, that it's not really easy to put the finger onto what does it actually do, or what happens, or so, because I have been also doing many other things meanwhile, and probably many of you who are also on this kind of path for this soul purpose, this search, this finding, however you want to call it, can relate to this, that there are all these different things you can try out and do, and other people report about, and I definitely can say I like to try out things that come my way when it fits. And in the last year, I did that Vipassana 10 days. I was for 3 months in Tamera in education, doing a lot of processing inner work. We were for 2 weeks on a pilgrimage, living really simple life and walking every day with all our stuff through the dry Portuguese landscape, a water pilgrimage it was. I did the Easter training that maybe some of you know, the International School of Temple Arts. I was in yoga teacher training. I was in a different week experience, living yoga it was called. Plant medicine. I was doing the master plant dieta recently in Peru, working with ayahuasca and renakia. And on the way along the line, many moments of plant medicine. And this is just like things that come to me now, where basically, and I think this is what I mean that many people know, is that this is a journey that doesn't stop. It's a full-time endeavor, experience, beautiful thing unfolding. Life is a ceremony, and so it's not easy to say what comes from what. I kind of like this saying, it goes on this journey, there are only, I think it's on the journey to enlightenment, there are only 2 mistakes you can make, and number 1 is not to start, and number 2 is not to go all the way. And this not to go all the way is not an option, as probably many know. That's just how it is. The calling comes back, and the readiness to show up increases, and so many things go on. And now Vipassana is my main anchor, I would say. Like every morning I wake up and I sit for an hour, and at some point during the day I find another hour to sit and scan my body. I mean, this is what it comes down to in the end. In Vipassana, it's scanning the body from the top all the way down to the feet and back up again and back down again. And this you do. And why it's so potent, and so that is an experience that needs to be had. I can't convey that now with some words, but that's what the 10 days are for. And so now, what actually happens? I think there are two layers on which I want to try to say a few words. And the first layer I will speak to is just like the physical experience, what happens in that hour. And I mean, it's a practice, literally, that like practicing the piano or practicing anything, we get better and our bodies get more trained in doing a certain thing, and then these things happen subconsciously, so we can grow more beyond those, and every time we do it gets a little bit better, or over time it gets better, or like more routine in it. And so it also is with meditation. So every day 2 hours, that's actually a lot of time. 2 hours every day out of the day. So if you do anything for 2 hours every day, after a year you're gonna have improved or see a evolution, a development of what's happening. And that's also the case if you scan your body for 2 hours a day. And it's really, really exciting, because the sensitivity increases, the sensations that I get to perceive, that what my body feels like. This goes deeper and deeper, and by now I feel like after a year there was a upgrade happening, and I mean, this is now where this other tools come in, because kind of to the day, 1 year after I finished my first Vipassana training, I came out of the jungle in Peru, sitting a plant dieta. And so it's no coincidence, or it's like a teamwork of all these things, what happened after a year. And I could also put it onto the plant dieta, and most likely it's a mix of all the things. But for sure, after leaving the jungle, a lot changed in my capacity to feel, to observe, to stay connected also, and all these things are quite empowering, obviously, and taking responsibility for my experience, and along many lines they're empowering, and also arriving in the body, feeling home in the body. And considering that it's been only a year for me to do this, I'm just in excitement for what's waiting for me, because even now I'm sitting here cross-legged with a straight spine, and as soon as I do that, my system starts to work. Like the meditative space will kind of creep into the time where it's not committed time to sit now, but it just becomes the baseline of being in more and more throughout the day. So these physical sensations also carry on through the day, and it feels really great. It feels alive. I feel very alive. And it's mind-boggling what, if I look back, let's say 2 years, what I thought having a body, feeling a body would be like. If somebody had said to me, feel into your knee, feel into your big toe, and like what I was capable of perceiving then and what I'm capable of perceiving now is so different, that if I now look into where I'm gonna be if I keep practicing, wow, it goes beyond words. It's something like if you never felt the heat of a fire on your hand or got burned somewhere, you're not gonna know that sensation. And there are a lot of sensations out there that, without entering into this deep stillness, I never had experienced before. And I trust, and I'm sure that there are a lot more things to discover. So it's super exciting. I'm highly motivated. I just love this meditation practice, And the second sitting of the day is maybe my highlight of the day. It feels just amazing. Yes, so this is for the physical. And I also want to say like a bit more about, so what does it do with my well-being, my state of being, my relationships, my view into life. And there, of course, also things shifted or are shifting always. So again, I want to pull in that fact that there have been so many different experiences taking their effect on me in this time, that it's very difficult to say now Vipassana is this. But one important encounter for me was with a good friend, David, from Mexico, who I admire a lot. Or the year before, we were hanging out a lot in the same place, and he was meditating every day 2 hours, and it was very inspiring for me. And then last year, when we met again, we could sit together, and I was in my own practice, and we talked about it. I was still early in my process with a lot of questions about, wow, can I keep this practice? And he said, I sit every day twice, in the morning and in the evening. Everything that happens in between, I don't know. All I know about my day is I will sit in the morning and in the evening. And this was very inspiring for me, and it's kind of like this for me now, where I took over this attitude, and it's a real habit now, and that also translates into all areas of life. I have to say, it's an anchor. It's a trust that from that time, that 1 hour that I give myself every day to calm down the mind. I mean, the meditation starts with simple breathing, where only when your mind has calmed down, the scanning begins. So this piece in the beginning is quite important to do that twice a day. I look at it like a lake on the inside that gets disturbed or in motion through the day, through the turbulences, and then twice a day I take the time to level it out, to integrate all the things that stirred me up, and to find a peaceful place from which then to discover the sensations. And this, I mean, coming out of that, many things that before the meditation were, issues, are not anymore afterwards. And when you do that every day, twice every day, all the things get kind of cleared, and there's no new sankharas, they would say in the Sanskrit, in Vipassana language, no new aversions or attachments are being created, which are the ultimate root of suffering in the Vipassana tradition or philosophy, where all the suffering comes from not accepting reality as it is right now. So that means I either want something that is not here, which is like attachment to something else, or I don't want something that is here, which is the aversion of reality as it is. And both of these, going into resistance with the reality as it is, are seen as the root for suffering. And those two you clear out every day twice, and so the general well-being gets just a lot more relaxed and in the moment, in the present, with what's actually around me. And from that place, beauty arises. And this is a long process, obviously, also. And again, all of those on the path watching this will know that maybe it seems like it's gonna last many lifetimes. There's so much to unlearn, to transform, to look at, to integrate, to just embrace and love to all the the pieces and understand more and more who we are, or maybe don't understand, understand less and less who we are, but either way it feels right, feels meaningful, feels like growth, like giving space for life to unfold, to come in. And it's an amazing journey. And I mean, from the last videos that I did now in the last week or so, those things I talk about, or where I am in my look into life and the world, it's very connected, of course. This is such a magical, mysterious journey. And another quote that I enjoyed the other day was, maturity is nothing but the capacity to be with uncertainty. So it's a process of maturing and realizing, like in these days we all do, the illusion of permanence and security, and that it was always there. Now it's in our face more, that it's like that there is no certainty, there never was. And the more we can embrace that and relax it and allow it, the more life can flow, and we get out of the way of that. Okay, this was my update on my Vipassana practice. I mean, I guess it's clear. I highly recommend, when they open again the courses, I will try to go back and sit again. And yeah, it's a tool. It works for me really well at the moment in this last year, and who knows what will happen. I never said I would continue for a certain time frame, and as long as I get up and enjoy doing that, I will keep doing it, and maybe make another update eventually. Actually, now that I shared so much about it, I want to say I'm curious to exchange with other people who are in a serious practice, because of some of the sensations that come up that are puzzling me, that are maybe overwhelming sometimes. Like, really, wow, there's so much life, and it feels like a seed. If I imagine I put a seed into the soil, and now the seed is waiting for the perfect conditions around it until it breaks open to come out. But until then, some things build up, and it's the right temperature and moisture and whatnot for the seed to say, okay, it's time to come out and shine. And it feels a bit like this kind of process where something wants to really come out, and that I'm approaching something, but it's unknown. I don't have a mentor in that sense. And if there's people who know about this or want to talk about it, let's do that. It's an invitation also to that. But this is all for my Vipassana update, with some of the complexity around a practice like this, and then putting the finger on what does this actually do. It's hard to say. These are some thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I will end by saying Anicca.